Hello dear students, welcome to lecture 13 of Security of Information Systems. So today we are going to review and recap what we have seen so far. Actually this is the latest slide, and the next week I will be explaining you to injection hacking methods. We have seen them briefly, but we will see them in details.
General security concepts.
Okay, one moment. Okay, all right. So
Understand information security properties, services. Definition of information security ISO 27000.
So let's remember ISO 27000. Okay.
ISO IEC 27000 is part of a growing family of ISO IEC Information Security Management Systems ISMS standards, the ISO IEC 27000 series. ISO IEC 27000 is an international standard entitled Information Technology, Security Techniques, Information Security Management Systems, Overview and Vocabulary. The standard was developed by Subcommittee 27 SC 27 of the First Joint Technical Committee JTC1 of the International Organization for Standardization and the International Electrotechnical Commission. ISO IEC 27000 provides an overview of an introduction to the entire ISO IEC 27000 family of Information Security Management Systems ISMS standards. A glossary or vocabulary of fundamental terms and definitions used throughout the ISO IEC 27000 family.
Okay, so we have remembered it.
Definitions of CIA, confidentiality, integrity and availability, services. Privacy and GDPR.
So what was GDPR? It was a general data protection regulation by the European Union. Okay.
Meaning of, and difference between other security concepts. Authentication. Non-repudiation.
Okay, do you remember non-repudiation? So what was it? Let's remember it again.
Non-repudiation is the assurance that someone cannot deny something. Typically, non-repudiation refers to the ability to ensure that a party to a contract or a communication cannot deny the authenticity of their signature on a document or the sending of a message that they originated. To repudiate means to deny. For many years, authorities have sought to make repudiation impossible in some situations. You might send registered mail, for example, so the recipient cannot deny that a letter was delivered. Similarly, a legal document typically requires witnesses to signing so that the person who signs cannot deny having done so.
Okay, so you see we have digitally signed documents right now in Turkey. Maybe you heard of them. So this is about non-repudiation.
On the Internet, a digital signature is used not only to ensure that a message or document has been electronically signed by the person that purported to sign the document, but also, since a digital signature can only be created by one person, to ensure that a person cannot later deny that they furnished the signature.
Okay. Let's continue. Access control and authorization. Okay.
Perspectives on security controls. 3 categories of security controls: physical, technical, administrative. Preventive, detective, corrective security controls. Security controls during storage, transmission, processing.
All right. So security management.
Security management. Know what ISO 27K series is about. ISO 27000, ISO 27001 and ISO 27002. title and purpose of each standard. Elements of ISM's cycle. Cryptography. Hash functions and symmetric ciphers. Status, usage of SHA-1, SHA-2 and SHA-3.
Okay, remember that when you are keeping user passwords in your database, you need to hash them, and not only hash them, but you need to keep them as salted hash. Therefore, they cannot be broken with rainbow tables, if you remember. So use at least salted SHA 256. Okay.
Parameters, block and key size, OFAES.
When you work with a, let's open this full description. When you work with advanced encryption standard AES, remember that block and key size are important to make it secure.
MAC message authentication code. Basic principle, keyed hash function. Asymmetric ciphers. Understand usage of keys in encryption and digital signature. Digital signature, understand practical usage combined with hash. Hybrid crypto systems. Threat to classical crypto from quantum computing.
What was the threat from quantum computing? When you use a weak hashing algorithm, they can be easily broken with quantum computing. To prevent that, we increase key sizes to, let's say, reasonable size. And even with quantum computing, which is now only theoretical, it is not practical yet. Even quantum computing will not be able to break them. Okay, break them.
Key management. Key distribution problem. Understand requirements for key distributions with and without PKI.
So what was PKI, if you remember? Public key infrastructure.
Type of protection needed, confidentiality or integrity. Certificates and PKI. Ideas, content, issuing, managing. PKI trust model. Revocation, CRL, OCSP.
So what was CRL? Okay. It was certificate revocation list. So let's remember it.
In cryptography, a certificate revocation list, or CRL, is a list of digital certificates that have been revoked by the issuing certificate authority, CA, before their scheduled expiration date and should no longer be trusted.
Okay. So what was OCSP?
The Online Certificate Status Protocol (OCSP) is an Internet protocol used for obtaining the revocation status of an BY.509 digital certificate. 1. It is described in RFC 6960 and is on the Internet Standards Track. It was created as an alternative to certificate revocation lists (CRL), specifically addressing certain problems associated with using CRLs in a public key infrastructure (PKI). 2. Messages communicated via OCSP are encoded in ASN.1 and are usually communicated over HTTP. The request-response nature of these messages leads to OCSP servers being termed OCSP responders. Some web browsers use OCSP to validate HTTPS certificates.
Okay, let's remember CAA and CT. So CAA, not this one, and let's look from here. Science technology. Okay, it says aviation security online, civil aviation authority probably, or okay, and we may need to look for it. Okay, let's continue.
Risk management. Understand the factors that contribute to risk. Attacker, threat agent, vulnerability, impact. And how they are related, understand diagram. Risk management process ISO 27005. Threat scenario modeling. Attacker-centric, architecture-centric, and asset-centric. Models for risk level estimation. Qualitative. Quantitative. Risk treatment strategies. Reduce, share, retain, accept, avoid. Computer security. Protection rings in microprocessor architecture.
Virtual machines, and in virtual machines there are topics.
Understand hypervisor, VM, guest OS, host OS. Type 1 and Type 2 virtualization architecture. Protection ring assignment to hypervisor, host, VM, apps, etc. Security advantages of running VMs. Boot security, UEFI. Security functions supported by TPM.
Okay, do you remember TPM? It was one moment. Trusted platform module. So let's read it to remember.
Trusted Platform Module (TPM), also known as ISO IEC 11889, is an international standard for a secure cryptoprocessor, a dedicated microcontroller designed to secure hardware through integrated cryptographic keys.
Okay.
Incident response and forensics. Elements if IR incident response policy. Types of IR teams: permanent, virtual, hybrid. Phases of IR. User authentication. Types of authentication tokens. Clock-based, counter-based, challenge response. Password security, hashing, salting. Biometrics systems. Criteria for biometric characteristics. E-government user authentication frameworks. Assurance levels. ADAS.
Let's remember the ADAS. Okay.
ADAS, Electronic Identification, Authentication and Trust Services, is an EU regulation on electronic identification and trust services for electronic transactions in the European single market. It was established in EU Regulation 910/2014 of the 23rd of July 2014 on electronic identification and repeals Directive 1999/93 EC from the 13th of December 1999. 1-2. It entered into force on the 17th of September 2014 and applies from the 1st of July 2016 except for certain articles, which are listed in its Article 52. 3. All organizations delivering public digital services in an EU member state must recognize electronic identification from all EU member states from September 29, 2018.
Okay.
Assurance requirement classes. Authentication method strength. Credential management assurance. Registration assurance. Identity and access management. Meaning of entity, identity, identifier, digital identity. IAM phases, configuration and operation, with steps. Identity management models. Silo model, federated model. Advantages and disadvantages of silo and federated models. Centralized, distributed federation models. Facebook Connect federation scenario. Meaning and principle of MAC, DAC, RBAC and ABAC. Communication security. TLS. Protocols, security services, key establishment, RSA, DH, TLS stripping attack, HSTS. IPSC. Modes, tunnel, transport, key exchange, Tor. Perimeter security. Firewall types, principles of different firewalls, strengths and weaknesses. Location of entities, DMZ or production network. TLS inspection in firewalls. Intrusion detection principles. Application security. Malware types. What is OWASP and the top 10 vulnerabilities list? No need to know all 10.
Okay, so let's check them out again. Remember. Okay, so top 10 web application security risks.
Injection. Injection flaws, such as SQL, NoSQL, OS, and LDAP injection, occur when untrusted data is sent to an interpreter as part of a command or query. The attacker's hostile data can trick the interpreter into executing unintended commands or accessing data without proper authorization.
Okay.
Broken authentication. Application functions related to authentication and session management are often implemented incorrectly, allowing attackers to compromise passwords, keys, or session tokens, or to exploit other implementation flaws to assume other users' identities temporarily or permanently. Sensitive data exposure. Many web applications and APIs do not properly protect sensitive data, such as financial, healthcare, and PE. Attackers may steal or modify such weakly protected data to conduct credit card fraud, identity theft, or other crimes. Sensitive data may be compromised without extra protection, such as encryption at rest or in transit, and requires special precautions when exchanged with the browser. XML External Entities (XXE). Many older or poorly configured XML processors evaluate external entity references within XML documents. External entities can be used to disclose internal files using the file URI handler, internal file shares, internal port scanning, remote code execution, and denial of service attacks. Broken access control. Restrictions on what authenticated users are allowed to do are often not properly enforced. Attackers can exploit these flaws to access unauthorized functionality and/or data, such as access other users' accounts, view sensitive files, modify other users' data, change access rights, etc. Security misconfiguration. Security misconfiguration is the most commonly seen issue. This is commonly a result of insecure default configurations, incomplete or ad hoc configurations, open cloud storage, misconfigured HTTP headers, and verbose error messages containing sensitive information. Not only must all operating systems, frameworks, libraries, and applications be securely configured, but they must be patched, upgraded in a timely fashion.
Okay.
Cross-site scripting (XSS). XSS flaws occur whenever an application includes untrusted data in a new web page without proper validation or escaping, or updates an existing web page with user-supplied data using a browser API that can create HTML or JavaScript. XSS allows attackers to execute scripts in the victim's browser which can hijack user sessions, deface web sites, or redirect the user to malicious sites. Insecure deserialization. Insecure deserialization often leads to remote code execution. Even if deserialization flaws do not result in remote code execution, they can be used to perform attacks, including replay attacks, injection attacks, and privilege escalation attacks. Using components with known vulnerabilities. Components, such as libraries, frameworks, and other software modules, run with the same privileges as the application. If a vulnerable component is exploited, such an attack can facilitate serious data loss or server takeover. Applications and APIs using components with known vulnerabilities may undermine application defenses and enable various attacks and impacts. Insufficient logging and monitoring. Insufficient logging and monitoring, coupled with missing or ineffective integration with incident response, allows attackers to further attack systems, maintain persistence, pivot to more systems, and tamper, extract, or destroy data. Most breach studies show time to detect a breach is over 200 days, typically detected by external parties rather than internal processes or monitoring.
Okay, hopefully tomorrow we will see each one of these the next week we will see each one of these in details, but you have remembered them, I am sure, and I will take note of this. Note. Okay. All right, it is fine, and let's continue.
Explain main vulnerabilities. SQL injection, XSS, cross-site scripting, broken authentication and session management.
These three are truly and indeedly the top three major vulnerabilities that you have to be careful in your professional life. The most common one is SQL injection. If you do not sanitize the input of the user, or if you don't take necessary SQL execution protection, such as parameterized queries, you are in great danger. Hackers are using fully autonomous software crawlers to find out SQL injection vulnerabilities in your web services or websites. Okay, XSS cross-site scripting is another one, and you have to be extremely careful. Again, when you are taking user input, you have to sanitize it or display it with sanitization. And broken authentication and session management is also another one. When you design a login and register system, you have to be extremely careful. Okay, so these are the three main vulnerabilities, prime vulnerabilities that you may make. Okay, this is true.
Secure software development. Security by design, secure agile software development.
Okay, hopefully next week you will see injection attacks and in details top 10 vulnerabilities. So this week I will also read again your semester project. Your semester project can be made only with single person. Okay, so you cannot make your semester project with someone else. Okay, so let's read it line by line.
Semester Project of CSE 413 Security of Information Systems 2020. Project Description V2, the 15th of December 2020. Project Delivery, End of Finals. Please read this document at least 2 times. There will be a single project for this course. The project will have a 100% grading score. You can send me your project file and ask me how it looks time to time. I will only evaluate the visual appearance and the structure of your article. The content of the article will not be evaluated before the final project delivery.
Okay.
In this project, you are supposed to prepare a detailed academic-style article written about the below security-related topics.
Okay, you have to prepare it in all of the below, not one of them or not several of them, all of them. Okay, so this was being asked to me. Therefore, I will be update the project details. Okay, let's open it and let's change the reading. Okay, okay, here. So I will update it once again. Okay. This project can only be made solo. Okay. You cannot group with your friends. Okay. So this is number one thing that I'm going to change. And the second thing, in this project, you're supposed to prepare written about the below, but all of them, not you, all of them. Okay, this is really important. It has to include all of them. Let's make this clear. So not you are going to pick one of them or pick several of them. You have to make your article covering all of them. Okay, all of them. This is important. So let's save this. I don't know why it has got some error, but it looks like. Okay, save it. So let's continue.
What is information security? What is data privacy? Find a real happened case example of data privacy breach.
For example, what do we mean by real example? Ars Technica is a very good website for finding such event, finding news about such events. For example, you see they have a tag as data breaches and there are so many articles. You can use them. Okay.
What are the human factors in information security and what vulnerabilities it can lead to? Find a real happened case example of human factor vulnerability related hacking.
Okay.
What is cryptography and subdivisions of cryptography? Find a real happened case example of cryptographic vulnerability related hacking.
So you can find news articles about all of these on, I think, Ars Technica, or you can look for other resources as well. Ars Technica is something that I read regularly.
How does HTTPS work? Explain in details. How to strengthen TSL security? Find a real happened case example of man-in-middle attack. What are data execution prevention, address space layout randomization and CPU protection ring? How platform virtualization works and what are hypervisor levels? What are code injection, cross-site scripting, XSS, email header injection, host header injection, LDAP injection, OS command injection, SQL injection, SQLI, XPath injection attacks? Explain in details. Find a real happened case example for all attack types. What is incident management? Explain in details. What are digital forensics and digital evidence? Explain in details. Find a real happened case example where digital forensics played critical role. What is user authentication and explain different types of user authentication models. Find a real happened case example of user authentication vulnerability related hacking. What are password-based, multi-factor, certificate-based, biometric, and token-based authentication? Explain each one in details. Give detailed example of token-based authentication.
By the way, you can also deliver your project at the end of bütünleme exams. However, in that case, you would get FF in your final score and you would get your score in the bütünleme exams, of course.
What is Tor, the onion router, and how does it work? What are firewalls and how do they provide security? What is malware? Explain in details. Explain the followings in details: backdoor, trapdoor, logic bomb, Trojan horse, worm, virus, stealth virus, polymorphic virus, metamorphic virus, exploit.
Okay, when I say explain, I am expecting from you a better article than what we are showing in our lecture slides. Okay, do not just copy and paste the lecture slides. That is not what I want. I want you to do research, find proper sources. Also, whenever you use an image, a video, or whatever, give them references. So write in your under your picture, for example, the source of the image. Okay, this is important in academic writing.
What is ransomware, how it works and how to prevent it? Find a real happened case where ransomware costed millions of dollars of loss. In addition to the article you are going to prepare, you are supposed to record a very high quality video, use OBS Studio and record quality to indistinguishable quality, audio 48K, and explain every page of your report. This video is supposed to be at least 1 hour long. You have to have a proper microphone setup. The video will be uploaded to YouTube with full quality and the link will be shared in the article you have written. YouTube upload has to be public or unlisted. The article has to be written with fluent and grammar correct English as well as it has to be properly structured. Also it can be rich in images. Every resources you use must have a reference to the source.
Okay, in your explanation video, you can explain it in Turkish. Okay, let me add that to our semester project file. Okay.
The aim of this project is teaching you every kind of information security related topics. It is not just preparing a document by copy-paste from the internet. Therefore, not only your article quality, but also how well you explain them in the video is important. Try to cover as many as topics you can. Remember, you have to explain every topic you have written in the video. Only the topics you covered in the video of your article will be counted for scoring.
Okay, so let's fix this sentence. Remember, you have to explain every topic. Okay, that you in the video. You have to explain every topic in the video that you have written in your article, or let's say project. Yes, project article. Okay, now it sounds better.
The structure and visual appearance of your article will also get you higher score. Also, how well it is written and how good in grammar is also important. So try to do your best. Turkish students can record the video in Turkish. The article has to be in English. If you are a foreign student but can speak Turkish better than English, you can also record the video in Turkish. Everyone will be sending a Word or PDF document along with their final project files. This document will contain screenshots of your all comments to the lecture videos, all of the 14 lecture videos. Take screenshots with high resolution. Your comment has to be clearly readable. Those who fails to send this document will be counted as not attended to the lectures. Therefore, they will get FF.
Okay, also another thing is some students are asking me that they are not able to find their comment. If you can't find your comment in our videos, then open a private window and open our YouTube page. Okay, so it looks like YouTube doesn't or Google doesn't list our page, so let's open it from here. Okay, for example, I will show you what I mean. So you have opened the video, then in the comment section sort them by newest first. Okay, when you do this, you see your comment is appearing here. If it still doesn't appear here, you can re-comment. So what you're going to do is, for example, you will take screenshot with print screen, okay, and use any screenshot software, or you can also alternatively use screenshot feature of, let's say, PowerPoint, or yeah, PowerPoint is also fine. For example, let's open a PowerPoint, and here there is a screenshot, and let's see if it does support Chrome. Yeah, looks like it doesn't support Chrome to take screenshot. So you need to use image software. For example, you can use Paint as well, which exists on every Windows computer. Here, paste it here, copy from there, add to your, for example, PowerPoint, or open a Word document and add there. However, when you, before adding that, there, crop it with like this. Okay, you see I am selecting the command, copying it and pasting only that command. Okay, so, and in front of your command you have to write it like this: lecture 1. Then go to the lecture 2 and take your command and write lecture 2 and paste below it your command. Okay, so you will be also sending me this file along with your project document. Okay, I think it is enough for this week, and let me update the project file as well, semester project file, and the slides. Okay, so let's update the project file. If you have any questions, you can ask me from my email or from our Discord channel. Okay, so let's update it here as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, this week is being kind of short. The next week will be much longer, and so think this as a time to prepare and work on your project, and hopefully see you next week. End of lecture.